They expected things to be physical, and that's exactly how it turned out, especially in the first half. Well, there's a booking coming up for Barbalescu in a moment for this so-called tackle on Peter Weir. And just watch this tackle by Stanku on Andy Watson. Incredibly, the referee never even spoke to Christia for this little piece of action on Mark McGee. Well, Badia, he wanted to stop Willie Miller here. Look how he does it. Stuart Kennedy again found himself on the receiving end of this move. And just watch how number 4 has a little kick on the way past. So it was that kind of strategy which clearly bundled the Dons out of their stride from the word go. And when the Romanians went in at half-time, we were all wondering if that first leg league was going to be enough. The Arges goals came in the first half. Rugvi had fouled little Baluta on the far side of the park on the half-hour mark. And as the Aberdeen defender limped off injured, Badia quickly took the kick and Radu came in from the back to score. And goal number 2 came 6 minutes later and was from another set piece. Cooper had fouled Turku 20 yards out and Pitești fullback Barbalescu scored from the free kick. But the Romanians saw their hopes of reaching the third round of the competition disappear early in the second half as Badia tripped Peter Weir inside the penalty area. And Gordon Strachan's nerve and shot were too much for Christian to cope with. That penalty kick meant that John Hewitt's late goal was merely the icing on the cake for Aberdeen. Yes, and by the time that second goal came along, just 6 minutes from the end, the North Tonight news crew and me were in a fast car on the way back to Bucharest, 75 miles away. It was from the capital that we were able to beam our electronic pictures back to Aberdeen for North Tonight that night. And like the Aberdeen fans in the Pitești Stadium, we knew that Gordon Strachan's penalty goal had put the tie out of the reach of the home side. So a hectic time for all concerned, and you can imagine the joy and the relief on the Dons' charter flight on the way home. Great fun. The players and the fans mixed happily on the return journey, and obviously they were glad it was all over. But even though they had had a long, grueling day, the card sharps were equal to it all. So too were the supporters, who gave me their impressions of how things went. I suppose, like the rest of us, David, you must have been terribly worried the way things were going in the first half.
I was indeed. I thought that playing defensively always is a danger for Aberdeen. I much prefer to see them going forward. After we'd lost the second goal, I was bothered.
Actually, did you see any improvement coming up at all? Was there any hope, did you think, during the interval?
Well, I always felt if they went forward that we would have no problems, because Peter Weir had the right back in a lot of trouble, and quite frankly, he could only stop him one way.
David, I think it's been very obvious on this trip that you've enjoyed yourself immensely, and the Romanian fans responded to you, didn't they?
Yes, very, very much. They've been very, very pleasant to us. They've been very kind. We gave them our scarves, you know, and they went down very well. In the first half, of course, they were on top of us and booing all the time, but in the second half they became very, very quiet. And there was a very, very friendly match. Very nice people.
You think you've behaved yourself sufficiently to get back on another Aberdeen FC charter?
Well, I have, but one or two of us, I think, got a little bit rowdy.
Very good.
Over to him.
I thought if we come forward a lot more, you know, we wouldn't have been in any trouble, but I just thought I defended too much in the first half.
So you're all set for the next round. Will you travel with the Aberdeen party again?
Oh, certainly, yes. It was a great time.
You enjoyed yourself?
Fantastic. Yeah.
The second presentation was to the man of the match, who was Stuart Kennedy. Stuart was rather lonely yesterday, we believe, so we bought him a real Romanian doll to keep him company in future trips.
Well done. Alec Ferguson, like everybody else, I think he must have been a very surprised and unhappy man going in at half-time, but the mood has obviously changed. What was the feeling at half-time?
Well, I think that, Frank, that the important thing was that we weren't playing. That was the thing. We weren't playing the game as we wanted to play it. Second half, they were Aberdeen. I think that sums up. They were prepared to take the shackles off themselves. They wanted to start playing and play the way they wanted to play. And they take the credit, the players, because it's hard to become 2 down and come back to 2 each. I mean, the manager has nothing to do with that. the players themselves take that credit.
Yes, Alec, but the manager must have had a lot to say during the interval.
One or two things.
And obviously, Alec, they proved yet again that they can go to an away ground in Europe and produce the goods.
Exactly. We've not been beaten in Europe yet, and that's a marvellous achievement. We're into the third round for the first time in the club's history. There's a lot of the big guns knocked out. Why can't we do well?
Well, Alec, many congratulations. I think you deserve it.
Thank you very much.